Oh, it is. It is. It is. A Friday episode, finishing out the week in style, my friends. Before you hit the bars, the happy hours, start your weekend plans. We'd like to bring you into the weekend gracefully here with another episode of Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm a little bit bummed today. I can't find my tinfoil hat. This is not a bit. This is not a joke. I did see my son wearing it around the house yesterday. He wants to be Alex Donno Jones Jr. I always keep the tinfoil hat right over to my left. So if I'm talking about anything crazy, I can pick it up, put it on at any given time. And the hat has gone missing. So we're going to have to lay low with the conspiracy talk for today. Plenty to get into with another impressive preseason showing for the Miami Heat last night. Preseason, sure, but plenty of positive signs. The team looks great. They look like they're having fun. They look like they're in sync already. Miami Dolphins have a massive, massive challenge coming up on Sunday. I hope they're up for it. Miami Hurricanes cannot lose this weekend, as Big Dan pointed out in the chat. At least the Hurricanes can't lose this weekend. Big Dan told me he's going to be traveling to North Carolina. He's going to make a little vacation out of it and catch the game at UNC, which I think is on the 16th. I think is the next time the Hurricanes play on the road to UNC. Big Dan is going to be out there. 12:07 today, so in a few minutes we're going to be joined game picks for the weekend. I know we have some big Lee Sterling fans out there. You should be a Lee Sterling fan because if you've been taking his advice on this show for the last 2.5 months, and even going back to the on-site radio show I used to do, Lee Sterling's been joining me for going on a year, basically every Friday. If you've been listening to Lee and taking his advice, you have won money. You are in the plus, my friends. So Lee Sterling is going to drop some picks on us today. 12:30, we're going to go in depth on the Dolphins and the Canes with Jakari Givens, King Jock 24 from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Looking forward to talking about the local football teams. I want to remind you guys, we are served by the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. We're going to be having a station watch party, a 5 Reasons Sports watch party at the Quarterdeck, November 2nd, Miami Heat on the road at Dallas Mavericks. That is regular season basketball, and it's a big one. We're going to go watch the game at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. Viewers and readers are all invited, of course. Come meet the 5 Reasons Sports crew. And don't even wait till November 2nd. Head out to the Quarterdeck this weekend, tomorrow, college football Saturday, NFL Sunday, and watch all the games on their flat screen, high def, big TVs covering every single wall, knocking down those drink specials. During football season, you can get the 5 for $15 ice cold buckets of Heineken family of beers and High Noon Hard Seltzer and mix and match those to your heart's content. Even when it's not a football game day, you can get 2-for-1 happy hour all day, every day at the Quarterdeck. You know the food is great. The seafood is delicious. Sandwiches and burgers are on point. I love the baby back ribs, and I love the fresh fish at the Quarterdeck. There's so many great options. If you want to peep their menu before you go or find the location nearest to you, visit quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. We are also brought to you by our official sportsbook on Donno Daily. We went 1-1 yesterday. Good thing I bet more heavily on the spread than I did on the over-under, but we got LA Rams -3 yesterday at the advice of Barry Barger, which was great. BetUS.com, guys, the official sportsbook of Donno Daily. Bet with the 3-decade leader, BetUS. Join now, and if you use our code word when you sign up, and if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? We're having so much fun wagering games all football season long. If you're a bigger basketball fan, great. Basketball season is right around the corner. They're already playing preseason games. Regular season is going to be here. Bet on the Miami Heat games. If you sign up with our code 5RSN125, you get a 125% sign-up bonus with your deposit if you use our code 5RSN125 and bet sports, play games in the casino, horses, pop culture, and more at betus.com. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS. God, another impressive Miami Heat performance yesterday. Kyle Lowry, limited minutes, dished out 10 assists yesterday. Kyle Lowry played 19 minutes, dished out 10 assists. He is fitting like a glove here. It's amazing. You're watching point guard play here in South Florida. And listen, I love the Slovenian gentleman who used to wear the number 7. I love it. But in Kyle Lowry, you are seeing no limitations. no limitations in Kyle Lowry. The way he's able to supercharge and turbocharge that offense, how fast and controlled he is, how quickly he gets up court, the vision that he has to drop in those lobs and those long passes to get the offense going. Unbelievable and unbelievably impressed with Kyle Lowry. We did get a look at Jimmy Butler last night. He didn't play in the preseason game prior. Butler played 16 minutes. He scored 9 points. Guys, another gem of a performance from Tyler Hero. This time he comes off the bench, and the results were not much different. I mean, played 25 minutes of the game, dropped 24 points. So in the first exhibition game, he drops 26 points in 26 minutes. Second exhibition game, he drops 24 points in 25 minutes. That is surgically good consistency in scoring points for Tyler Hero. He looks fantastic again. I said it on Wednesday or Tuesday, I should say, and I'll say it again. If Tyler Hero can play consistently the way he's playing now in the exhibition, and he's added size to his body, he seems like he's in mentally the best place he's been in since college at the very least. The Miami Heat will have a big 4, not a big 3. If they can get consistent output like this from Tyler Hero, we are in really, really good shape. You know, they beat a Rockets team on the road. Yeah, Rockets in rebuilding mode. Still an impressive showing from Miami, 113-106. And we don't have to wait long to watch the Heat again. We have to wait about 8.5 hours, a little less than 8.5 hours, because the Heat are going to take on the Spurs in San Antonio tonight. So another exhibition game coming up this evening here. And you know the crew at 5 Reasons Sports is going to have you covered. So a little bit later, I'm going to tell you what has to happen for the Miami Dolphins to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this weekend. But we can also get some insight on that from Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, who joins us now. Guys, like I said at the top of the show, we all should be big Lee Sterling fans, because if you've been listening to him and consistently taking his advice, you are in the plus. You're winning money. Lee, I always love the mini helmets behind you. You get me charged for a football weekend, the tracksuit. How are you, man?
I'm good. Yeah, I got different colors. You want another one? Here we go. I can get you. You want black and gold? And get you. Let's see what we got here. Yeah.
I want you to tell me where I can buy one of those. Do you sell those at Paramount Sports?
No. Got to be an employee or one of the top shows. So
well, give me a job that you don't even need to pay me. Just make me an unpaid intern as long as I can get a tracksuit.
Okay. All right. Good ones too. What size are you, Alex?
I'd go somewhere between XL and double XL. Double XL
Okay.
preferred if you have it.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll let you. We'll starve you. We'll have you miss a meal or two so we can get you into the XL.
Fair enough. I probably should be dropping the pandemic weight at this point.
Well, because I order a lot of stuff from Adidas. This is
right.
a Nike one from Adidas, and especially if you order from the foreign countries, they don't go above XL. That's it.
No, that's true. That's true, because people are just not as large in foreign countries.
Right.
Just Americans are bigger. I mean,
They play golf. They play soccer for America.
Right.
Soccer like 5 times a week. So.
Oh my God. So Lee, let's start with our Miami Dolphins.
Yep.
Of course, recent form has been poor. You're on the road against the defending Super Bowl champions, who are off to a solid start this year. The Dolphins, in most of the places I've seen, are double-digit underdogs here, about 10-point underdogs. I totally understand it, yet it's still a really big spread. And you also have to look at Tampa Bay missing a ton of important players in the defensive secondary. I'm just wondering if the Dolphins are going to continue being overly conservative in quarters 1 through 3. It seems like if they can figure out, hey, let's attack downfield a little bit early in the game, we might have some more success. So what do you make of this 10-point spread?
How about just a hurry up once in a while?
Yeah.
I mean, change of pace. I mean, I watched the game twice, and I was grading some of the players. Jacoby Brissett was awful. I mean, I know he was under pressure, but there was a ton of times there was receivers down the field open, and he checked down for 3 or 4 yard gains. So that's part of the problem. You know what? It's not just that they're bad. I think fans want hope. I mean, Houston and Miami should have gotten together and made the trade a couple weeks ago. Enough already. I mean, Houston's got no hope. I don't think we have much hope here. Do I think we're going to cover? Yeah, probably. Super Bowl winners and Super Bowl losers. The next year, road favorite of the last decade. Check this out: 15-31 against the spread.
Really? Yeah. That's a good nugget.
Road favorites.
Wow.
So all those injuries in defensive backfield, Miami can't get any worse than last week. I mean, they were horrendous, and it was even worse to watch it. I'll say Tampa Bay wins the game 28-24. I'll take the 10 points.
Yeah, I like to hear that. Lee Sterling is with us. His website is ParamountSports.com. Lee, what do you look at as some of your preferred plays for this weekend? We do have some UFC fights this weekend. Obviously, a lot of NFL games, college football in full swing. I'm just happy my Canes can't lose this weekend. Our Canes, because you're a Miami alum as well. So Miami cannot lose this weekend. But what are some of your preferred plays coming up this weekend?
So in the NFL, I like Kansas City a lot. So I think Buffalo's the better team, but they've been chirping in the offseason saying they had 4 or 5 more minutes, they would have won the game in the playoffs last year. Well, they're also forgetting that Patrick Mahomes got hurt in the third quarter and was out with a concussion. He plays in that game through the end of the game. I think they win by double digits. So I know the Kansas City defense isn't good, but Buffalo has some major injuries in the secondary also. So Jordan Poyer, their safeties, I think, are the best in football.
Yeah.
They try to funnel everything from the outside in. And those two safeties are great at reading plays, making tackles, sure-handed tacklers, and they make good plays on the ball. I'm talking about just knocking balls away or intercepting balls, but he may or may not play. That's a game-time decision. Both cornerbacks are banged up too. So if you don't have all hands on deck, I like Kansas City there, 37-30. Should be a shootout. That's one of my games.
I like it. What else are we looking at?
Another game I like is going to be in the NFL. We'll start NFL and then go college. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they've hit rock bottom. So do I think they're a good team? No. There's always the one or two team in college and the NFL that you have figured out. I liked Pittsburgh the first week, and I've gone against them the last 3 weeks. Yeah. This game is played week 1. This line is like 5, 6 for Pittsburgh. I know their line isn't good. I know that Big Ben is certainly on a steep decline. You see these guys in uniform. He looks the same, but he's 39. Doesn't move around.
And the crazy thing was, like, I thought in week 1, like, I know that their defense also played so well against Buffalo, but week 1, Big Ben made some good throws that are like, hey, Big Ben is back. Right. Maybe he's not finished. Weeks 2, 3, 4. No, the guy's finished.
Yeah, he can't move, but his receivers are good. Denver could be without Patrick Surtain in this game here. It's not like they're going to run away and hide. If Teddy Bridgewater plays, he's coming back from a concussion. If they draw Drew Lock, all the more better. If you put 8, 9 guys up on the line of scrimmage, he's not going to fare well. He's not going to be able to figure out what's going on. So I like Pittsburgh there. Then in college football, I love Alabama against Texas A&M. Texas A&M's got some real problems, offensive line. They're like Notre Dame. When you lose 4 out of 5 linemen and you don't have good backups, it's just not good. And it's not like they have great quarterbacks like Russell Wilson who can escape and make things happen here. So Zach Calzada is not good for A&M, the backup. I like the young kid that they had who's going to be the starter, but he's hurting out a couple more weeks. I thought he was going to progress. Calzada just holds on to the ball too long. How about this? Nick Saban has beaten his former assistants, 24 straight times with a win last week over the Lane Train. Down, I'm saying this right now, down goes Jimbo, number 25, roll tide, 51-14. Big.
Man, I like that. We like anything in the UFC?
No, it's a tough card.
It is a tough card.
It's not real interesting. I don't know why they're starting these cards at 1:30 in the afternoon. I mean,
I didn't even realize that. And that's wow.
I think still,
that means what, the main card is like 4 then? 4, probably?
Yeah. Wow. Down to 10 fights. Wow. A lot of big favorites. I mean, we might only release 3 fights there. We might do a couple. I mean, when you get above 220, 230, you can't bet favorites like that. You lose. It's like losing 3 or 4 fights. So we might do a couple 2, 3, 14 parlays there, but not much of a card there. Another game I like a little bit is Penn State against Iowa. Penn State getting 2.5 points here. Both defenses ranked number 2 and number 3 in the land, very similar, but Penn State, the more dynamic receivers, and Iowa's best 2 receivers are their tight end Laporta and their running back Goodson. So both those guys average 12 yards of reception, whereas Penn State's got a couple receivers really good in the open field. So give me Penn State. Wrong team favored there, 24-20.
Do you bet a lot of preseason NBA basketball, or do you kind of scout in the preseason, then you hit the ground running in the regular season?
So I played a couple. I'm actually 1-1 so far.
Okay.
I'm looking for starting lineups. You can get a lot just from reading newspapers.
Yeah.
It's very similar to exhibition football. So one of the games we had, I think, was Memphis the other night, and Memphis won by 10. And then the other night, 2 nights ago, we had the Clippers. I knew they were going to play their starters. They played them like 25, 28 minutes each. They were playing Sacramento, who played a ton of players. Well, what happened? They shot 35%. We shoot 35%. You're not going to beat it. They must have missed like 8 or 9 layups. I'm watching. I'm like, looked like my game. The king of the missed layup. So
like an afternoon at the YMCA.
Right. Yeah, I was all defensive third team when I was 25 years old. I'm over
good
50.
for you.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I patterned myself
blocking shots. And getting
I didn't block shots. No, I just had good hustle. Good hustle. My dad always told me that the 6th, 7th, and 8th guy are the most important guys. Why? Because he was the 6th, 7th, and 8th guy on rosters too. So
makes sense.
Yeah, it's tough, but there are some spots. So hockey starts Tuesday. You're not much of a hockey guy, are you?
I actually am, and I was betting all your hockey picks last year, and I'm a big Florida Panthers fan. But the thing is, like with hockey, I'm like compared to the NBA and the NFL, I'm in a little bit too much of a local bubble, right? So I don't scout the other teams enough. But I definitely take your advice, and I took the advice of a couple Canadian fellas I know. So you imagine every Canadian, of course, is a hockey expert. So I'm into it, but I don't follow the rest of the league the way that I do with the NBA.
No, but it's just who cares? You're betting it, you're winning.
Exactly.
What's better, betting hockey and winning, or betting soccer and losing?
I bet a lot of soccer. So, I mean, listen, I'd rather win.
Okay.
I would rather win.
There you go.
So I'd rather bet hockey and win. But
we were number one in the country. Go to covers.com. They have like 37 handicappers there where I sell my picks also.
Yeah.
So that's my website. We, number one, $100 to $500 better, made over $22,000 last year on our hockey picks.
Dude.
Next closest person was like at 10,000. We doubled the number 2 guy. So
that's awesome.
Anyone wants to hop on board, go to the website, ParamountSports.com. We have a Locktober special, 4 weeks of game. Locktober, 4 weeks of football games, $297. Baseball playoffs. We've had a great run, an 8-3 run in baseball, and a great 4-month run in baseball. $97 for the playoffs. Hockey, $797 for the season. $797 gets you the entire season. That goes through June of next year, and then the week after, basketball starts. So everything's up and available. ParamountSports.com.
And real quick on the way out, are you surprised that Manny Diaz is still the Miami Hurricanes head coach despite the early returns?
No. Do I think he's going to last? No, but I don't think you fire him now. I mean,
I just thought, a long week plus a bye week, that actually would have been a sensible time to make a change, because you've got like 17 days between games.
Well, I don't think anyone on their coaching staff is the right answer. So, look at like when the Dolphins, who's the coach for Campbell, the coach for
Dan Campbell.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a good coach, who knows why Detroit hired him? I mean, him and Anthony Lynn together, if you bet Detroit, I mean, you might as well just throw your money up if you walk in or out of a nightclub. So there's certain guys that I think are just poor. He's an interim coach for a couple games, like 2 or 3 games. He's a rah-rah, he's a position coach.
Yeah, breaking kneecaps, all that stuff.
We hired Manny Diaz. He wasn't even a good defensive coordinator. So problem is we don't have a whole lot of money. I'd love to see him make a change. And I think it doesn't look like they're going to be able to turn it around with the schedule that they have. I think they're going to finish probably like at best 5-7 with a young quarterback. I'm hearing the King might be done for the year. So
the same.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Well, good stuff here as always. Lee Sterling, his website, ParamountSports.com. Go on there, take advantage of Locktober. Lee, thank you so much, man. We'll be betting all your picks. Enjoy the weekend.
See ya. Take care, Alan.
I love it. I love that, dude. Lee Sterling. Oh man. By the way, I want to welcome everybody in the chat. I love our guy Andy Carroll, Andy in Scotland. But Andy, tell me, are you in Scotland right now or are you traveling somewhere? Because it seems like every time Andy checks in, he might be stateside. He might be like out in Asia somewhere. Like he's all over the freaking world, Andy from Scotland. We always appreciate him taking the show international. Marco does not really agree with Lee Sterling taking the Dolphins to beat the spread, 10-point spread. He says, I love the optimism, but 24 points scored against Tampa Bay, because I think Lee said it could be a 28-24 game, Tampa Bay over Miami. He thinks that's impossible. Oh, wow. Andy in Scotland, he's in Qatar. You setting up for the World Cup over there, Andy? Woo! That is a place I've never been to. I don't know if I'll ever end up in Qatar. I would not mind checking out Dubai some point in my life. That's a bucket list item. That place looks incredible. So just let me know if Qatar would be like a nice place to take a long weekend with the wife or something. Yeah, and Andy writes in, what about the Saudis buying Newcastle United? I was really pissed when I saw that, because the Saudi Public Investment Fund, which is the richest fund in the world, and it's not even close, the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, yeah, they're buying Newcastle United. So they're going to turn them into Manchester City on steroids, PSG on steroids. They have unlimited freaking funds, the PIF. Like, they are going to turn Newcastle United into the biggest financial power that international soccer has ever seen. But I was really pissed that they're taking over Newcastle, because they've also been linked to the club that I support, Inter Milan. And like, there are even some rumors out there that they may still be looking to buy additional clubs after Newcastle, that they want to create. The Saudis want to create like their own version of Citigroup or Red Bull, who own multiple clubs. But I'm going to hold my breath. I'm not going to hold my breath, I should say. I'm not necessarily going to count on it. And, this is, wow. First of all, you can't even spell Manny. Manny is trying to troll me in the chat. He says, Newcastle greater than Inter. That's not true, but I can understand why they would want to have a presence in the Premier League. Like, Newcastle does not have a richer history than Inter, but the Premier League is the league with the most exposure and the most money, the best TV deals, the most opportunity. So they can turn Newcastle into a bigger club. Now he's showing me the Wikipedia page. Do me a favor, mute yourself. He's going to go through the history of Newcastle now. He's a troll. Manny Chang is an absolute troll. Well, maybe I'll tell you, Newcastle United, by the way, Manny, with the oil money coming in, the Saudi investment firm, Newcastle's going to be greater than your beloved Real Madrid pretty soon, okay, with the type of money coming in. So you can kiss any Champions League victories goodbye from this point forward. Enjoy your 13 Champions Leagues, because the next 13 are all going to be won by Newcastle United. So STFU, buddy. Oh, my God. Great seeing Andy from Scotland. Great seeing Trevor Gaffney in there. We love this dude. I know he's a big Lee Sterling fan, so you got your Lee Sterling fix. Oh, real quick, let me remind you Lee Sterling's picks, by the way. He can't buy Champions League, buddy. Ask PSG. Oh. See, the thing is, PSG doesn't even have Newcastle money now. The PIF they might just buy Real Madrid and fold them into Newcastle and like merge the clubs together. So Lee Sterling picked, and these are all against the spread, Kansas City over Buffalo in the NFL, Pittsburgh over Denver. That's a pick'em game, so I don't think there is a spread on that one. College football, Alabama over Texas A&M, Penn State against Iowa. So those were the Lee Sterling picks in case you missed them. So you want to think about locking those in. That, of course, is it's not financial advice, but if you have been listening to Lee Sterling for the last several months making his picks, you guys are up, not down. You're in the plus. You have won money. So part of the title of this episode is the Miami Dolphins will beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers if. So here's what you have to take advantage of, all right? Couple of factors here. One of them is tangible. One of them is intangible. The tangible factor is if the Miami Dolphins do not emphasize, and I don't care if Jacoby Brissett or Reed Sinnett or, the quarterback of a high school team, Bishop Sycamore, ends up quarterbacking the Dolphins this week. I don't care who is throwing the football. Your 2.5 coordinators need to emphasize attacking downfield, because if there is an area of weakness you must attempt to exploit, it is the very banged up defensive backfield of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If there are points to be had, and you got to score points to win this game, because the Miami Dolphins defense, I think they played good enough to win these last couple of games, but they've been hung out to dry by the offense, not moving the football, not scoring points, not giving them chance to rest. It's hurt the defense. The offense needs to score points, and there is a road to victory in this one, at least a road to hanging here, to hanging tight and scoring points. If the Dolphins are going to win this game, they have got to attack a banged-up defensive secondary that includes Sean Murphy-Bunting on injured reserve since the season opener. Jamel Dean has missed the last 2 games. Antoine Winfield has a concussion that's still keeping him out of practice. He's still in the protocol. So there's, maybe he can play, probably can't. And Carlton Davis placed on injured reserve on Thursday. And, the Buccaneers basically last week, they brought Richard Sherman into the facility, and then 3 minutes later, he's on the field against the Patriots. Like, it's a patchwork defensive secondary. They are banged up. They are decimated at that position. The Miami Dolphins need to attack downfield, which means the 2.5 coordinators need to realize this dinking and dunking stuff, and I don't care who you blame it on, okay? Jacoby Brissett, part of the problem as well, because Jacoby Brissett was checking down off of open looks downfield. He had an opportunity last week to hit Jalen Waddle downfield, who was open. He checked down for like a 2-yard throw that didn't go anywhere. So Jacoby Brissett, he needs to make sure he's got his testicles strapped on this week. You need to have some balls. You need to have some courage going downfield, and the defensive coordinators need to have some courage attacking downfield. Listen, I'd love to see the running game get going as well, but maybe this is the type of game where you pass to set up the run instead of trying to run to set up the pass, because the Dolphins are not built to run to set up the pass, because when your 3 running backs are all second and third running backs at best, you don't have a true number 1 back. I like Myles Gaskin a lot, who was criminally underused last week. How Gaskin only gets 2 carries last week is beyond me. They're hardly using Salvon Ahmed. Malcolm Brown, fine, but he's not a number 1 back. You need to try to emphasize the passing game, I think, to set up the run. You'll have more success in that regard. There's no reason this week, folks, no reason why throwing downfield to people like Devontae Parker, who made a couple of incredible catches last week as he was being interfered with. Flags thrown and catches made. Mike Gesicki had a touchdown and a few great catches late in the game. Devontae Parker and Gesicki both scored fourth quarter touchdowns. You didn't emphasize the 2 of them at all until too late in the game. You need to emphasize that earlier. You need to go downfield. I know that your wide receiver core, unfortunately, not as healthy as it was over the last couple of weeks. Will Fuller is on IR with a broken finger. You traded away Jakeem Grant. Not that he was helping your passing game anyway, right? But between the likes of Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, and Mike Gesicki at tight end, the Miami Dolphins need to attack downfield. Andy Cornell writes in, why does Chris Grier still have a job? I don't have a good answer for that. I think it's going to be, if things don't turn around, it's going to be hard for him to keep that beyond this coming off season. He made a couple of great-looking trades, a handful of great-looking trades, acquiring assets, but then has misspent those assets. So that is a question I wish I had an answer to. But the Dolphins need to attack downfield this week. That's how you can beat or at least hang with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. That's the tangible part. The intangible part is, and I've talked about this throughout the week, and I know I'm not the only one, because I was reading a pregame column at CBS4.com by my good buddy Steve Goldstein, Goldie, and he said something similar that I said during this week. We're not going to have the answer to this question until Sunday, but if there's any sort of adrenaline dump or an emotional hangover for the Buccaneers and for Brady after going into Foxborough last week, which had to be up there with one of the 2 or 3 most emotional games of Tom Brady's career, even a guy who's played like 10 Super Bowls. I mean, going back to Foxborough had to be up there for him. If there's any sort of an emotional adrenaline dump after that, emotional hangover after that, we'll find out. I'm not banking on that. That's an intangible thing that may or may not be a factor, but the tangible factors is you have to attack downfield against a defensive secondary in Tampa that has been decimated by injury. But let's go out to the guest line. and bring in a man who is a staple on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, one of my favorite guests here on Donno Daily, who can do such a great job breaking down the local football teams. We'll start with the Dolphins. We'll get into the Canes a little bit as well. King Jock himself, Jakari Givens, joins us here on Donno Daily. Jakari, how you doing, man? How's your week gone?
It's going phenomenal, man. I'm happy to be on, ready to break down and discuss my thoughts on the situations that are occurring with both teams.
So let's pick up where I left off, that if there's any opportunity on paper, it would be for the Dolphins to try and attack downfield against Tampa Bay's defensive secondary, because they are incredibly, incredibly banged up. So we got to take shots this week downfield, right, Jakari? They can't coach as conservatively on offense as they have these last couple games.
Yeah, correct. Carlton Davis, the starting cornerback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, went on IR today. So I guess he'll be out 3 weeks. Richard Sherman didn't look in playing shape that well last week either. Ross Crocker, he's known to give up big plays, so they're banged up a lot. Even lost Antonio Winfield. I don't know if he's going to play this week because he was in the concussion protocol. But the Dolphins just have to play football, and I think taking shots downfield. I know people are upset with the Fuller injury, but I kind of like it because that makes them future Jalen Waddle as the deep threat.
Yeah.
You get to see more of Albert Wilson as well, another guy who's really explosive with the football. And I think you just see a lot more Mike Gesicki as well. I think the injuries are going to help the Dolphins find their rhythm with the correct players, right? Last week, you started to get a ball to Jalen Waddle, and he was having an explosive game. Like, he was catching the ball, getting up the field, and then you all of a sudden stopped going to him. We missed him on a couple of over routes. You missed him on we didn't really take shots really downfield with him, but a lot of the things people are saying, oh, Waddle's not overrated, blah, blah. No, they're not getting him the football because he's open on plays when you watch the all 22. So I think the Dolphins just have to play football. I think Brissett has to do a better job of hitting his open guys because a lot of the times, it's the offensive line. Like, no, those are clean pockets that he's getting. He just has to hit those guys. Those plays are designed to go to Jalen Waddle or Devontae Parker. Parker, who's a little bit banged up as well, may not play this week with the sore hamstring. But I think the Dolphins have a chance. Brady's coming off a big game. Not a big game per se stat-wise, but he's coming off a big game emotionally. He may catch the Bucs slipping. Miami has been prone to do this anyway, where we beat teams that we're not supposed to beat.
Right.
And then lose to teams like the Colts who are 0-3, right? So I think Miami's going to cover the 10 points, though. I
agree.
will say that. I think they're going to cover that, but I think they have a chance because of the banged up secondary. We know they're not going to be able to run the football on Tampa Bay. Nobody's running the ball on them in 3 years. So it's going to be a game where I think we see Jalen Waddle's first big breakout game because they're going to have to push the ball downfield. So I think he'll be featured more. I think Gesicki has a big game. And I think the Dolphins probably, if they lose, it'll be like 30-27. I think they put up a couple of points on the Bucs.
We're joined here by Jakari Givens, who played D1 ball at Kansas. It's why I love chatting with him, because he can give me insight on football things that, he can break down the game in a way that just a lot of us can't quite do. Offensive line, I want to focus on Austin Jackson, who he has been poor. I don't think there's any way to sugarcoat it. He's been really poor. He actually seems to have regressed from last season to this season. What do you think have been his primary problems at left tackle? And do you think could moving him inside, could that work? Would he be better right now as a guard than a tackle?
Well, Austin Jackson's biggest problem is his playing strength, right? A lot of the times you see him when he gets beat, he's getting walked back to the quarterback because he can't anchor and he doesn't have good playing strength. So teams are going after that, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he can play guard just because of that reason. I don't think he's strong. Like, his playing strength is not good. So you're talking about matching him up with the pass rushers. Then you move him inside the guard. You're going against the Vita Vaz of the world, the Ndamukong Suhs, Aaron Donalds, those guys, and the Grady Jarretts, like those guys in the 3-tech, Quentin Williams, who's in our division, right? So Ed Oliver from the Bills. So you think you like those matchups? No, I think he's fine. I just think he has to re-identify himself and get back into his groove. He didn't play particularly bad last week against the Colts. He had a decent game. I like a lot of the things that I seen out of offensive line last week anyway. It was a good game by them. Obviously, they gave up a sack, but one of them was on Jacoby Brissett for holding the damn ball too long.
Yeah.
So I think they're fine. I think let's see if he can, like, what he plays out this year. I still think, I tweeted the other day, I think you retweeted it. I still think they should go trade or sign a quality offensive lineman. Like I said, I mentioned the names, Taylor Decker from the Lions, Andre Dillard from the Eagles, who's another quality guy, Mitchell Schwartz, and also get a running back. That's going to help the offensive line too. A quality back. You know, Melvin Gordon is going to be a name that'll come up because I think the Broncos will be willing to move on from him because they have Phillip Lindsay and Javonte Williams, the kid they just drafted. And Marlon Mack, obviously, we've heard him in trade rumors all the first 4 weeks of the year. So a lot of that is on them. I think if they do those two things, or either one of those things, I think the offensive line would look better. But if you have no threat of the run, it hurts the O-line. Like, because I know you're going to drop back 50 times in the game. I can just pin my ears back. But Austin Jackson, like I said, he looked better this week. Let's see how he does this week against Shaq Barrett and JPP. But his only issue is his playing strength. His playing strength is terrible, and it's on film now, so teams can attack it.
So we're, I think, 25 days away from the trade deadline. You mentioned some possibilities for offensive line and running back trades. Of course, something that's had people talking really for months, and it seems to have intensified over the last couple of weeks, is the possibility of a Deshaun Watson trade. And even the Texans owner, Cal McNair, was more candid, I think, than he's ever been. Yeah, ever since Deshaun wanted to get traded, which I think goes back to about February last year. Allegations came out in March. Still, nobody in a position of power in Houston had ever publicly even entertained the idea of trading him. And then Cal McNair said, "We'll just wait and see," he said, which, okay, that's, you're saying a lot there by not saying much. He said it's a day-to-day thing. Nick Caserio is in charge of that. We'll see how that works out. Do you think something could happen here? Because I do think something could happen here in the next 25 days. And if you're Chris Grier, and maybe your owner wants it, because that's something that's been pretty strongly reported, do you think this is something the Dolphins should be seriously considering?
Well, before I get into that, this is all pure football. We're not talking about Deshaun Watson, what he do off the field.
Said. Yeah,
I don't cover guys on what they do off the field. Like I said, when I got into sports journalism, I always said I'll just be critical of your on the field play or critical of what you do on the field. Off the field, I can't control that or control their actions or whatever. So from that standpoint, I think Watson, you trade for him, and I think it's going to happen, right? I know a lot of fans are going against it, but I think it's going to happen. It's too much speculation going on, especially if Tua comes back and he's not playing well. It's going to happen. And I per se this. I know what Deshaun Watson is right now. He's the second best young quarterback in the league behind Patrick Mahomes. We cannot deny that fact, right? So he's a top 5 quarterback in a lot of people's eyes too. So you don't turn that down for 3 first-round picks. That's crazy to me. If you give up 3 first-round picks, that's trading, for instance, Noah Igbenogany, Christian Wilkins, and Tua Tagovailoa, or Austin Jackson, Noah Igbenogany, and Christian Wilkins, right? Would you not trade those 3 players for a top 5 quarterback? In
a heartbeat.
So it's not. I really don't see the problem with it. I think you trade for him. You can keep Tua. There's a lot of reports saying Washington would be interested in Tua, which that's a great spot for him. Mm-hmm. If Washington's interested, you're gonna recoup a 2nd-round pick anyway. And like I've always told people, 1st-round picks don't matter unless you hit on them, right? So when you trade those picks, you're better. No, you trade them. It does not matter, right? Deshaun Watson puts you in position to be, if not one of the top 3 teams in the AFC, because he instantly becomes the 2nd best quarterback, if not 1A, 1B with Mahomes, right? So you will put him against that battle, and you just build around that. He has the weapons there. Still got to build offensive line. But this is a strong, laden offensive line giraffe. You can get guys second, third round. You just have to pick the right guys to develop them. Or you just go out in free agency as well and build an offensive line that way. So from a football perspective, you make the trade in a heartbeat. If that's what it's going to take, you trade him. It does not matter. You're going to get a top 5 quarterback. And when he's playing, he like, I'm just being honest, people who are saying, oh, I'm not going to buy in, you will buy into they're going to buy into the Miami Dolphins winning. It's the same thing what happened with Big Ben. If he was losing, you will hear the allegations. He was winning. I think he won the Super Bowl in that span as well. Like, you're going to cover the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, my morals are very strong towards what's going on and what he did. But I'm saying from a football perspective, I'm still going to do my job. I'm going to cover the team. And I'm going to evaluate his on-the-field play. I think you make the deal. It does not – you're getting a top 5 quarterback. Once the allegations, if they ever clear, whatever it may be, you set yourself up. Hey, if he does go to jail or if he does X, Y, and Z, you set ourselves up where you send one of the first-round picks back, this year's first-round pick back, and you can keep the 2 future ones or something like that. So I'm not really upset if they make the deal. I think it'll be the best for the team because you get what you want. You get an established quarterback. And Tua's going to be great, right? But you have to, you know what I'm saying? He's going to be a great quarterback, but I don't think he'll reach the Deshaun Watson level.
Yeah, and something, and I want to emphasize, this is not sourced. This is my opinion based on a lot of the things that I've seen. I get the sense that there's optimism in the league that the criminal charges are probably not going to go anywhere. So that part of it, I think that there is some confidence that, like, he's not going to wind up in prison. You can never say 100%, obviously, because if you do have some pending investigations.
I tell people, this is just honesty, right?
Yeah.
The guys who have the financial backing, right, they normally get off of things like that with a silver suit. Right. They normally they'll back off the criminal charges. Right. They settle outside of court. You look at Antonio Brown, he went through a similar situation. They settle outside of court. He's not back in the NFL, right? And this happens a lot more than people think. You just don't hear about it all the time.
Exactly.
Right? So it's just that Watson's a big star in the league. So I think personally, like if I had to make an estimation of what's going to happen, going off previous legal history, he's gonna settle outside of court eventually. I think his biggest issue why he hasn't settled now is because I think he made a statement he's not gonna spend money to prove people wrong. But I think that at this point he's gonna end up settling outside of court. His lawyers are gonna give him the best legal advice. Hey, settle outside of court and let's move on from this.
And one last thing, and then I got a couple Canes questions for you. From Chris Grier's point of view, okay, because we're the conversation that we have about what it might take to give up Deshaun Watson. I was told 3 first-round picks, 1 second-round pick, 2 third-round picks, and I think that's specifically what the Texans would ask the Dolphins, because they may ask slightly different things from other teams depending on what assets they have, right? So from the Dolphins, 3 first-round picks, a second-round pick, 2 third-round picks, and Josina Anderson also reported something similar. 3 first-round picks and 3 additional assets. So, okay, if you're talking about giving up, and 3 ones is a lot. Now, like you're saying, just from a football standpoint, 3 ones for Deshaun Watson feels like a steal. But it is a lot of assets, and there are legal question marks, right? But then you look at it this way from Chris Grier's point of view. His seat is getting hot, okay? Because now the evidence is coming in that he is missing on most of his draft picks, especially the higher round draft picks. So if you look at it from that standpoint, and, you do have a team owner that, at times has not hesitated to make changes and big changes. So Chris Grier has to realize his seat is getting hot. Okay. So you look at it from his point of view. Okay. Do I want to give up 3 first-round picks and 3 additional assets for a guy who has some legal question marks? But at the same time, if I don't make this trade, I may not be around to use those first-round picks and those additional assets anyway. So if you look at it from a self-preservation standpoint, Chris Grier can say this might be a cheat code to keep my job because if I wait to use these assets later, for me, there might not be a later.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with Tua coming back, right? If you look at it, Tua may save a lot of people's jobs, though.
And by the way, Big John Stud, if I play quarterback on Sunday, final score would be probably 175-0 Tampa Bay. Go ahead, Jakari.
Yeah, so like Tua can save a lot of people's jobs as he come back slinging that rock, right? But I just feel like this with draft picks, right? If you don't, he's not missing on draft picks. They're just, it's not him. It's the organization that's bad, right?
Yeah.
Because all these guys go other places and have okay seasons or better. So it's the organization that's around him. Maybe it's the vice president or whoever it may be. He's not missing. Minka Fitzpatrick was not a miss. What happened was the Dolphins, like we're looking at the last 5 picks. Kristen Wilkins is a good player. He's just not a pass rusher. So when you're not a pass rusher at the D-line nowadays, you don't get the necessary credit that you deserve. Wilkins, Noah Igbinoghene was a project anyway. So you can't judge. And like I tell people, with draft picks, you have to go to the right situation as well. So those guys are not fitting in here, right? Austin Jackson looked like a great pick last year, right? But this year it's like, we don't know. Minka Fitzpatrick looked great his rookie year, but then you started playing him at all different positions. Everybody doesn't like that in football, right? I don't want to be at nickel, at safety. Now I want to just play one position. So it's okay. I just think that he has to develop. Great point, Brooklyn Robbie. They have to develop the talent. They're not missing, because you can draft anybody and they play bad. What if we got Justin Jefferson? Will we be like, oh, Justin Jefferson, this and that? Like, no, he went to a great situation, right? Already got a true number one in Adam Thielen. Kirk Cousins is a marginal quarterback, if not above average. He looks good, right? Look at Rashawn Slater. Justin Herbert, he went to a better situation than Tua because they had Keenan Allen already. They had Mike Williams. They had Austin Eckler. They had a decent O-line. But then they went out in free agency and spun money to reassure the O-line, right? So a lot of the situations is not talent-based. It's just they're not developing or putting these guys in the right situation to succeed.
That's well said. I want to move on to some Canes. They can't let us down this weekend because they don't play. So it's by the time they step on the field again next Saturday, October 16th against North Carolina, it's going to be about 17 days between games. And actually, before we get into some Manny Diaz hot seat stuff, I want to get your take on something as a guy who played, right? Because you can speak to these sort of environments. We got a report from Tuesday's practice from Barry Jackson. He had a couple of sources on this, a couple of strong sources on this, that a fight broke out during practice. And it was one of those things, anybody who's played sports at any level can relate to this. When you start running those sprints and then the coach does, I don't know what you call it, collective punishment, where one guy is loafing, and then you don't just punish that one guy, you punish everybody. Well, one guy's not giving max effort, everybody's got to start over again. And if another guy's not giving max effort, you keep starting over again until everybody is dialed in. So there was somebody who was loafing. They had to keep starting over. Tempers flared. Punches were thrown. I think this could be a good thing, Jakari. I think it's a good thing, and I think it's part of football, especially since another part of Barry's report was, not only did they have the fight, but then they called a meeting about it to sort things out, which tells me they care. Like, it tells me these guys still care about each other. There's still love there, and they're trying to work it out. Like, how common is this sort of thing when you're talking about D1 practices, a team is slumping? Like, how common is it to have situations, fights like that? And do you feel like something positive usually comes out of it?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Any guy that make me run extra, I'm gonna whoop your ass anyway. Like,
there you go.
I used to hate that, man. Don't make me run extra because you're in a bad mood or you just like, nah, man, we're not gonna do that. But this happens every day. Fights happen, competitive practices. Now the team meeting is kind of alarming for the simple fact.
Oh, really?
Yes, because a players only meeting is alarming to the point why we have to have a players like the team is probably not together as tight as they should be anyway. So the fight probably was just a combination of a whole bunch of things. Probably a guy who I'm pretty sure the guy who was loafing is a guy who plays, right? Or he was upset because we're running extra for a while. We running extra after that, right? So it's kind of like the meeting's alarming in this sense of, okay, were we not together before? Because most times in a fighting practice, you guys, whatever, in the locker room is over with, right? As soon as you get in the locker room, it's over with. So what was is the brotherhood, but also it's good in the sense where they may come together as a team finally and be like, okay, our own separate acts are not working, right? You just come together as a team and make sure, like, okay, hey, we're on the same page. I think a lot of Miami's issue was that a lack of intensity, right, when they played. Like you can see the sleepwalking. So I like the fight because it increases the juices in practice. So I'm sure after that the practice probably was like hard hitting because this and that, right? So it's nothing wrong, but a team meeting is alarming. The players only team meeting is alarming in the sense of were you guys not together before, or was this just a combination of everything that went down? You're losing, a starter's bullshitting in practice, and now it's just a thing like, man, I'm finally gonna say something to this guy because this is the day.
Now, we had hold on, my son's here. Luca, do you want to get on real quick?
I made the liner, so I gave the number so you.
Nice job.
You can count when your food is ready.
Okay, thank you. Go back with Nonna. I got. I love this. I trust him to make better picks than Grier. He's a future Dolphins GM out there. My son Luca making the cameo. Now, before the season even started, and we talked to Jakari a lot. Before the season even started, like you told me that Manny Diaz hot seat, and I certainly believe it now. I mean, we're in a position where certain other programs might have already made a change. Miami has not made a change yet. I think things are going to have to get even worse before they consider doing that.
Well, the reason why, like, say they played Virginia, right, and it was a non-competitive game, he would have got fired right after the game.
Yeah.
But like I say, the way it's shaping up to me, Urban Meyer's going to be back in college in a matter of probably a couple of weeks. I think he's going to get fired probably in like the 7th or 8th week of the season.
Well, I think the time to fire Urban would be, unless like things could be catastrophic this week as well. But in 9 days from now, they play the Dolphins in London. I think they have their bye week after that, so that would seemingly be a pretty good time to make a change, unless maybe they find a way to beat the Dolphins, which I'm not expecting and I'm hoping doesn't happen.
Yeah, so I would personally, if Manny Diaz is gone, Urban Meyer is probably the guy I would go after. It's not as much pressure on him to win in Miami. He come to Miami and win with ease. He can get the recruits. He's a better college coach. I'm not even going to judge his NFL stint because the NFL is hard to coach because you're dealing with guys who make more money than you. So it's like, what? Like, you just have to be a CEO, right? Because these are grown men. Like, how am I going to be a coach making $2 million a year talking to, like, somebody or doing anything? This guy's making $10 million a year. He's going to look at me like, no. So I don't think he's doing anything wrong. I think he's been too honest about his situation. But I think he'll be a good fit in Miami. You look at a guy like him. I heard Bush Davis is going to retire. So, that's probably out of the question. But I think that'll be the best. I brought up Kendall Browse. I think Kendall Browse from Arkansas, it would be a great fit there because what is Miami lacking? Explosive offense, and he can go ahead and recruit the SEC.
He made me. Yeah, I gotta lock this door, but he made me a hamburger. Isn't that nice? Luca, I'm gonna be done in 10 minutes. Go play. Okay, go. Oh man, Jakari Givens, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time, my friend. And you can see the Twitter handle on the screen. Make sure you're following Jakari at KingJock24. He's a big part of the Six Ring Canes crew. Jakari, let people know where they can find you. He's so mad he can't be on the show.
KingJock24 on all social media.
And do you have any shows coming up? Well, when's the next time we can see you or hear you?
Well, not today. We're not gonna do the sports break today because Dave had something to do. But we'll be back on Monday with a sports break. You'll see me on the Six Ring King on Wednesday, and I'll also be on the Dolphins post game Sunday.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, so he is all over the network, my friends. Jakari Givens at KingJock24.
Hey, you can catch me on those two out of the 3 new projects that's about to come up.
Yeah, that's right. So something, and hold on, I want to plug that because it came out. I didn't have a chance to put it in my show notes because Ethan tweeted it like right before my show today. But we got a couple of web projects coming up on 5 Reasons Sports. I'm going to see if I can read that real quick here. See, the problem is Ethan tweets so much that something he tweeted out like an hour ago. Okay, here we go. Looking for 3 big projects on 5 Reasons Sports platforms, web, pods, and 5 Reasons YouTube, okay? The first project, 5 on 75, launching 5-hour rewind by updating NBA's all-time list on their 75th anniversary. And we got a strong NBA following in 5 Reasons. I know that's going to be a smash. That's going to be a tremendous hit. Number 2, quarterback wasteland. Ooh, I want to be a part of this. Why have the Dolphins struggled to find quarterbacks for so long? Seriously, I mean, dudes, I was lucky. I was lucky to be alive for most of the Dan Marino era. And then since Marino, the Dolphins haven't really found the answer. And you've had some teams that have had multiple franchise quarterbacks and Super Bowl winners since then. I mean, you look at, like the Green Bay Packers, for example, who went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and I can't even find one guy during that span. It's unbelievable. Quarterback wasteland's going to be good. And then the third one, I think we've been kind of talking about that for the last 10 minutes here. User error, the fall of UM. And how to get back up. And actually, let me close with this, Jakari, and then I'll say goodbye to you. Can Miami get back up? Can we rise from the ashes again? Can Miami become a big powerhouse program again? Because some folks, and this may be, the Florida and Florida State fans who are trying to dig our grave, some folks think it'll never happen. Do you think Miami can rise again?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's going to take, when you resurgence, it's going to take you reestablishing the culture, right? Not trying to live on past traditions. And it's hurt them because they've been trying to, when they recruit, let's bring the U back. No, create your own create your own new foundation. That's what Nick Saban did. At LSU, he was different, right? He went to Alabama. They won, but what happened in that midst? He went from being a power team where he was handing the ball off 40 times a game until where he went and got an offensive coordinator that was a spread OC. Lane Kiffin, Brian Dable, Bill O'Brien now, but he went and got spread guys. But what happened? Now he's able to bring in those explosive recruits. Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs. Now you get Bryce Young, who's going to be an NFL quarterback. Tua, Mac Jones. Look at that. You go that Jalen Hurts, right? So it happens. You look at Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley, right? Lincoln Riley reestablished Oklahoma's identity where you had 3 straight quarterbacks go number 1, right? So you just have to reestablish your identity and not try to recreate an old identity. And I think that's what Miami's struggling with. So that's why they need to go ahead, move on from a guy who's not Miami. Like I think Manny Diaz is too Miami, right? Oh, no. Like go get you a guy who understands what it takes to win and let him establish his dominance within, right? And that's what I like. That's what I like that Nick Saban did. Like people are, why is Alabama winning? Because he adjusted, right? Les Miles, on the other hand, was in the same predicament. He never adjusted. He never went and got a spread OC. Now Ed Orgeron comes in. He goes get Joe Brady to help the offense. They win a national title. So you have to always reinvent yourself. But I think that's what Miami failed at in the midst of trying to come back. They're going to always get the recruits, right? You're in Miami. You have the name, but you have to reinvent yourself, and they have to establish a new identity of what Miami is. It's not what the old Miami is, where you got, 50 guys who, that's what it knows. You have to reestablish your Miami identity into what they want it to be and what it will be, and not like that's.
You see this. Brooklyn Rob is on point today. He's right. Jimmy did that when he took over from Howard. He created his own identity.
Yeah, and that's what you had. The 80s in the UM. Then you went from Howard Steinberg, who helped Miami win. Then you went to Jimmy Johnson, where he created that, like, we're going to whoop your ass mentality.
Swagger.
Then Butch Davis comes in. He kind of has a similar mantra to Jimmy, but he recreated Miami because he went and got guys. Like, you had an 01 team that had, 30, 40 NFL players on it, right? Then you went to Larry Coker, who was a bit more of a player's coach than anything. They win that 1 year, and then they had success. But then after the talent of Butch Davis ran out, they went down. Ever since then, it's been a trophy jump. Al Golden, no identity, right? Mark Richt, he had an identity at Georgia. He never adapted in the SEC, and that's why they continued to lose, right? Mark Richt, no identity. Now you have to go get you a guy with an identity. That's why I said, i.e., Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer is a physical coach, creates a competitive atmosphere. Or Kendall Browse, who's going to bring an explosive offense to Miami, so you're going to be able to get the talent. So they have to recreate their identity and make sure it's the identity what they need and not what they want.
I love it. Awesome stuff as always, Jakari. Have a wonderful weekend, my friend. Thank you so
too,
much for
brother.
the time and for the great content.
Hey, one bet for Bet USA. One lock.
I love
this
it.
Week. One lock for this week. I'm taking Texas over Oklahoma.
Boom. Oh, I love it. I'm going to lock that in for tomorrow. Thank you so much, man.
Anytime, brother.
Awesome stuff there from Jakari Gibbons at King Jock 24. And yeah, Bet US, guys, be taking advantage of our sportsbook partner, the official sportsbook of Donno Daily. We have a code. You can lock in 125% sign-up bonus when you make your deposit, or even a 200% sign-up bonus if you deposit with crypto, if you use our code 5RSN125 at betus.com. Whether you're locking in Lee Sterling's picks, you're locking in Jakari's pick there, or as Brooklyn Rob would say, if you want to fade my picks, if he considers me a mush. Although I got to tell you real quick, before we wrap up this episode, we have to do our game picks for this coming weekend. I think Manny is a little bit tied up. He can't jump on. Sean is absent this week. So I think he has been absent the entire week. He's back next week. So I will go through the picks really quickly. First, the standings. So what we're doing every week, and this particular segment, guys, I just want to offer a disclaimer. This particular segment is not gambling advice. This is a competition ongoing between Manny, Sean, and me, where we're picking 4 NFL games against the spread every week. Now, why I say this isn't gambling advice is these aren't necessarily preferred plays on my part. I choose these games based on challenging spreads, compelling games, just to see how Manny, Sean, and I do competing head to head. So here are the standings now. Sean Stanley, he's climbing out of the cellar. Okay. Sean Stanley, who was last place, until this week, he went 2-2 last week, bringing his total to 6-10 on the year. But he has surpassed Manny Chang. Manny went 0-4 on his picks last week. Thanks for showing up, bro. 0-4. He's now 5-11 on the year. I went 2-2, 2-2, I should say, 2-2, 2 wins, 2 losses. So I am now 8-8 on the year. I'm the Miami Dolphins. I'm even Steven. Okay. So the games that we're picking this week, we're picking the Philadelphia Eagles, who are +3 at the Carolina Panthers. Now I know every time I throw an Eagles game in, Manny can't resist. He's going to pick the Eagles every time. So Manny is picking the Eagles to win and cover. Sean is picking Carolina -3. I'm picking Carolina -3. Sorry, Manny. So Sean and I have Carolina -3 at home against the Eagles. Manny's going the Eagles. Broncos at Steelers, which is a pick'em game. I know Lee Sterling did go Steelers. I'm going to lean to the Broncos. I just think the Steelers look shambolic. And even with the Broncos being on the road, I think they're going to win a close game. So I'm going Broncos Manny's going Broncos. Sean is going Steelers. Game 3 that we're picking, Cleveland Browns +2 at the Los Angeles Chargers. Both these teams are impressive. I'm going to edge with the Chargers because they are at home. I think they're going to win this game by somewhere between 3 to 7 points. So I'm going to go with the Chargers. Manny's going with the Browns. Sean's going with the Chargers. And then the final game that we're picking, we pick the Miami Dolphins every single week. Dolphins are +10, guys. On the road in Tampa Bay, a double-digit dog. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are -10. I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. Not to win outright, but I'm going with the Dolphins to cover. I think this is going to be somewhere between a 3 to 7 point game. And, of course, the Dolphins have to be aggressive, as we've talked about. They have to attack the very banged-up Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary. To me, enough is enough. The Dolphins have played so poorly. I think we're going to get an emotional response, and I think the Dolphins are going to play better and keep this game close. I think Tampa's going to win a close game. I think the Dolphins are going to cover, so I am going Dolphins +10. Sean Stanley is going Dolphins +10. Manny Chang is going Bucs -10. So we have a lot of dissenting opinions on the games this week. We'll keep you updated on the standings next week. I do not trust the 100 offensive coaches the Fins have. They have somewhere between 2 and 4 offensive coordinators. We're not exactly sure. Oh, man. Manny the Mutt. Yeah, Manny is way in last. Oh, I like India McKenz is a Buccaneers fan. Go Bucs, Battle of the State. I hope it's a good game. It's a Sunday 1 o'clock game. Defending Super Bowl champs at home. I hope the Dolphins can give them a challenge, and I think they will. That's why I am going Dolphins to cover the spread. All right, I want to say before we wrap up this episode and this week, a couple things. Be ready next week as I hold this cheeseburger my son gave me for lunch. I'm starving. Thank you so much, Luca. I want to remind you guys, starting next Monday, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. starting next Monday. A little bit of a later start time. I get the sense that works well for a lot of viewers, which I'm very happy about, because it works a little bit better for me. It works a lot better for Sean Stanley with a new job he's got. So it's better if we start at 3 p.m. We're going to start going live 3 p.m. starting next Monday, my friends. It's going to be really good. And I want to remind you about a couple of other of our sponsors, which we need to be supporting. Of course, we all know Quarterdeck, BetUS, Underdog Fantasy, okay? I know a lot of us have been playing the various football contests and drafting at Underdog Fantasy. Basketball, guys. Basketball and Underdog Fantasy NBA, that's going to be gigantic this year. It is the best and easiest place to draft a fantasy basketball team for big cash prizes. You just draft at Underdog. You don't need to worry about waivers, lineups, injuries. Underdog handles all of that for you. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download their smartphone app, which is really easy to use. Draft a season-long best ball team, and that's it. No in-season management. It's a great service. There's a lot of different games you can play for cash prizes at Underdog. They're going to give you, by the way, $25 when you sign up and deposit, so you can take a free shot at a $1 million grand prize in their fantasy tournament. So sign up with our code 5RSN. That's 5RSN. And make sure you're following 5 Reasons Sports on Twitter, because we're going to have, I think, the NBA crew from 5 Reasons Sports is going to be doing a draft tonight with viewers and readers. So you want to get involved with that tonight. Start drafting your fantasy NBA teams at Underdog. So go to Underdog Fantasy, use our code 5RSN. And I want to remind you guys that if you need repair, look at this, spam risk again. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, spam risk. I want to remind you guys that if you need repairs on your bent or cracked wheels, rims, you need to call our good friends at You Brake Wheel Fix, conveniently located in North Miami. Whether you're a Dade or a Broward person, you're not far away from You Brake Wheel Fix. Mark and his repair and refinishing techs have over 2 decades of experience. They are dedicated to providing high-quality repairs for cracked, bent, or damaged rims and wheels. They get the job done quickly, and they get the job done right with a quality guarantee. They've got excellent reviews, by the way. Don't just take my word for it. Take the word for it of their satisfied customers who leave excellent reviews, 5 stars on Google and Yelp. And what I love about You Brake Wheel Fix is not only are they going to give you the best possible repairs to get your car right back on the South Florida streets, and they can even give you loaner wheels. If you just don't have time to wait, you got to get back on those roads, they can give you loaner wheels. What I love about You Brake Wheel Fix is they are as passionate about our South Florida sports teams as I am. They love them. So you can get your wheels tricked out at U-Brake Wheel Fix in Miami Dolphins colors, Miami Heat red and black, or they've done white Hot Wheels, which look unbelievable. If you got a white car and you can match that up with your white Hot Wheels, it is smoking. You're going to get so many compliments on your vehicle. Miami Hurricanes colors, you can get your wheel done. Inter Miami pink and black looks fire. If you got a black car and you get your pink and black wheels, you're going to be doing very, very well for yourself. If you're a single guy, single lady, you're going to attract a lot of attention. I think if Urban Meyer comes down here, he wants to impress those college co-eds. He's going to be getting the pink and black wheels. You can count on that. So make sure you call them, make an appointment, tell them 5 Reasons Sports and Alex Donno on Donno Daily sent you, 305-748-0112, or on the web at ubrakewheelfix.com. And Urban, if Urban were to come down here and coach the U, I'm not expecting it, but if it were to happen, I would just want one night on the town with Herb. He's a middle-aged guy, upper middle age. I'm creeping into the middle age. I'm 37 years old. He's 58. We're both happily married guys. But listen, if I could spend like one night out on South Beach with Urban and, cozying up to some of those co-eds, that sounds like a great time. Welcome to the No Trophies Bowl, featuring the Falcons, Jets, and hosted by Tottenham Hotspur FC. The No Trophies Bowl. Oh, Tottenham. All right, that's going to do it for us. And yeah, Baby Shaq writes in, Urban Meyer would be championship within 3 years. 100%. You sell your soul for that championship. The Urban Meyer cycle is always written the same way. And in Florida, he even won 2 championships. But Urban comes in, gets you a championship or 2, burns out after a few years, starts to have those health problems creeping in. He has an unceremonious exit, and everybody's angry when he leaves. But you know what? Championship or 2 would make it worth that. You would mush him. Urban would get no play. I'd be the worst wingman of all time. Yeah, health concerns. All right, huge shout out. Jakari Givens today, fantastic. Lee Sterling today, fantastic. The Cowboy Saloon in Davie, that would be the spot. That feels like Urban's scene. Like Urban at Club Live, not really, but the Cowboy Saloon, that to me, that seems like Urban's scene. So I think that's where I would take Herb out to. I'd drive. Like I don't even care. I'll be the designated driver. I just want to be there to witness it and maybe to get some of Urban's sloppy seconds out there. Like I would be totally down for that. Urban Meyer, come on down, sir. Huge thanks to Lee Sterling, to Jakari Givens. Huge thanks to Manny Chang behind the scenes, to everybody who got in. A special thanks to Big John Stud, who popped in and gave us a super chat donation, $5. Bro, I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. Thank you so much. And if ever anyone wants to contribute on the super chat, donations are welcome. And don't worry, you would not be donating directly to Manny Chang's sneaker fund because he has already purchased his PJ Tuckers. So you're not donating to Manny's sneaker fund. That's already been taken care of. Baby Shaq, David, thank you so much. Brooklyn Rob, who was killing it today with the comments. India McKenz, thank you so much. Let's see. Gadiel Cardigana, thank you so much for hopping in and for chatting with us live. Number 1 Kane, thank you so much. For a second, I thought that was like the Christmas edition of the shoes. That's the strawberry colored PJs. I mean, honestly, if you want to get those, that would be good for the holiday season. You'd be wearing red and green sneakers. If you want to, and here's what you do, Manny, get a part-time job being one of Santa's elves at the mall. Because you're not quite, like, you don't quite have like the build to be Santa himself, but you can be a Santa's elf with those shoes on. You will fit in perfectly. Big Dan, thank you. Marco MB Beggs, thank you so much. And Marco wrote in on Urban Meyer, do not fire him before the Fins game. Yeah, you want Urban in the train wreck coaching the Dolphins-Jaguars game. Do not fire him before then. Please, please, please. Connor Yeager, thank you so much for hopping in. Andy from Scotland, my dude. Rafa in Miami, one of the most positive, optimistic guys. I love that guy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Trevor Gaffney, thank you. Omar Lewis, thank you. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. Was not on purpose. Oh, Brooklyn Rob is blind after seeing those Christmas sneakers. So This coming Monday, we'll be coming to you live at 3 p.m. Thank you for tuning in. Let's hope for a good Dolphins performance this weekend and fun NFL Sunday, fun college football Saturday. We will talk to everybody on Monday, 3 p.m. right here on Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Ciao.